Do you ever just get this feeling of emptiness? Because I know I do, right? Don't get me wrong. And I'm kind of here to give my perspective on that feeling when you should be feeling happy, but yet you're not, right? So basically, right? Whoa. Oh my gosh, I just had a voice crack. I'm so sorry about that. But basically, right, not too long ago, I won something, right? I won something that one out of like 600 people win, right? Because of my abilities, right? And so, of course, right, one might be thinking, that's a really great achievement, right? Which it is, right? But I almost feel as though I don't deserve it, right? And that's not because of anything I did, right? I did everything that I needed to do, right? I did, I prepared as much as I could, right? I did everything that I physically could to try and win this thing, right? Or at least to try and get into a position to where I could, move on, right? And so I did, right? And after reflecting on that, right, I kind of came to the conclusion that I don't feel as happy as I thought I would be, right? Because your whole life, right, you're basically trained to think, being first is or being second or anything like that, right? That is like the success that you get is tied with happiness, right? Which is not. And I think that's a very valid point because there are some things, that people just don't understand, right? Like, for example, I know a lot of people have been going through this, not me, right? Because, of course, I'm a high schooler, but I know when people have their first kid, right? Everyone talks about how depressing it is, right? And it's like, why, right? Because you spend your whole life and you're told that, you're gonna have a baby, right? And you're gonna have this magical experience. And when you realize that it's not, it's not as magical, you kind of just sit there, right? You're like, oh, sorry, I'm a little sick, but that kind of build up throughout your whole entire life, saying that this is the moment that you've been waiting for, right? And definitely some people, they don't have this, they don't experience that feeling of depression, right? But I know a lot of people do, right? Because there's no getting around it, right? And so you kind of just sit there, right? Like thinking to yourself, is there something wrong with me, right? And of course there isn't, right? Because no matter what, there's nothing wrong with you, right? I think the thing that's wrong, sorry if my voice is cracking a lot, I'm like really sick, but the thing that's wrong is that everyone's kind of telling you that it's going to be the best the best moment of your life, right? Or it's going to be like literally the best moment of, like, when you hear the best moment of your life, you're going to be like, it has to be amazing, right? And when you actually have it, it's like, maybe I'm doing something wrong because everyone else, had such like a magical experience and I didn't, right? So like, what did I do wrong? Which, like I said before, it's nothing that you did wrong. I think the thing that's wrong is how people anticipate these moments in your life to become, like, I don't know, to get a job, to graduate college, to, have your first child, to get married, which I definitely think getting married you should be happy on that day. But it's a lot of stress, right? Don't get me wrong. And so I think that all these things have just slight drawbacks, right? When you graduate college, it's like, what's next, right? There's literally, you have to pick and choose. You have to go, okay, what am I getting myself into? Am I going into a career? Am I getting a job? Like, what is happening? And then when you graduate high school, it's like, okay, am I going to college? Am I getting a job, right? Am I going to do this? Do I have responsibilities now, right? I'm going to be independent. I'm most likely going to be living on my own. How am I going to get money? It's stuff like this where, what is happening? Anyways, I'm sorry if this is really bad, but it's stuff like this that, that you kind of don't realize because people don't really tell you, right? Because people just say, oh my gosh, I'm graduating high school soon, right? This is going to be the best moment of my life, right? I finally have to stop studying. But there are these drawbacks, right? Because no matter what you do in life, there's always going to be something, right? Because let's say you're getting married, right? Now you have to, first of all, I'd hope you stay married, right? Like, don't get into stupid arguments. But, you have to think, okay, where are we living, right? What's the food situation? Do we have enough money to support this, right? And are we going to start a family, right? So it's these little things that, really microly impact I'm so sorry these experiences you're gonna have, right? And that's very big, right? Because some people, when they have success, right, they feel that amazing feeling of, I'm the best, right? And that's it, right? Which, that I think that's very good, right? I think that's a very good thing. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. All I'm saying is that, if you do have this feeling of nothingness, right, there's nothing wrong with you, right? It's not something that you did wrong. I think that it's something that the society as a whole has done wrong, because, everyone's posting on social media now about their awesome experiences. Like, I don't know, let's just say, for example, they're posting about like their fitness journey, right? And how they became so like fit, right? Now, to one, that may seem like, wow, that's so desirable, right? That's exactly what I want in life. But, what they don't show is the things that you had to do to get there, right? The amount of work that you had to put in, the amount of effort that you had to put in, right? The amount of hardship that you had, the amount of sacrifices you had to make. And I think that that's a very important thing that people should start putting in, right? Because it kind of shows that human side, right? Because everyone's not perfect, right? Don't get me wrong. And you shouldn't try and be, because that's also wrong, right? Because that's what makes us human, right? Humans make mistakes. We learn from those mistakes, right? And so by you just saying, by you only showing the good things, it shows unrealistic standards that people like try and live by, right? And B, it doesn't let people learn, right? Because let's just say, for example, you're gonna do a review on, I don't know, let's just say let's say games, right? You want to do a review on games, right? You're not gonna say like, oh, this game was amazing, there's nothing wrong with this, like, and you only show the good parts of the game when the game installed a virus on your computer, right? You're not gonna do that, right? You're gonna say, this game has installed a virus on my computer, so don't install it on your computer. Or if you do want to play this game, just be careful because it's going to show a virus, right? And they kind of warn you of the bad things, right? And I feel like that's something that people don't do, and it's kind of out of habit, right? Because when people go to social media, right, they want to find, how other people are living. They kind of want to escape their own reality, because the truth is, right, a lot of moments in life is just awful, right? Don't get me wrong. That's what you're gonna remember most of, right? Is, these just insanely horrible memories, right? Or like when you were petrified, when you're scared, when you were, traumatized and stuff like that. You're gonna remember that more than, when you went outside to go for a walk and it was, it was calm, right? You're not gonna remember that, right? But I think that that's a good thing, right? Because it creates this sort of learning system in your head that, okay, this is wrong, right? And so by doing that, when you achieve something, you have to think, right, like, what now, right? And that's not a bad thing, right? But it kind of creates from that joy that you get, right? Because it's like, now what am I supposed to do, right? Like, what was my purpose, right? And I think that's a very like deep thing, right? Don't get me wrong, but I don't know, right? I was just thinking about that because of an experience that I had. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys again, right? I had like 70 views on my last video, right? I can't appreciate that enough, right? And you guys commenting really really just makes my day. Also, I don't know what you're talking about for the raw liver thing. If anyone could explain that, I don't understand, right? But anyways, with that being said, I think we're gonna call it for today. You know, sorry for that pause, but I'm really sick and I had a lot of voice cracks today. But if you guys like my content, please just let me know in the comments, right? That's the best way to support my YouTube channel, is to just comment down below, because then I know that people are actively watching, right? Because when I just see a number of views and likes, right, it could just be random people just looking at the video then clicking off, right? Because I think my average view time is like 16 seconds. So by you guys actually like commenting, it really makes my day. But with that, I think that's going to be it for me. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day, night, morning, whenever you're watching this. And yeah, bye.